Hello. Hello, everyone. Oh my goodness. Apologies. There have been some interesting little glitches in the background here. And welcome to Costa Rica. It's just, I'm doing the show live. Hello, everybody. Hello from Norway. Um, yeah, we're literally just about to get a solid downpour, which you may all witness here in the background shortly. And when that happens, everything goes completely wonky, right? Anyway, but I'm here, so it's all good. How is everybody doing today? Just drop in the chat one word about how you are feeling today. And I am going to do my best to get to a lot of the comments. I have so much that I'd love to share. I'm just coming off, my goodness, like 4 or 5 weeks. I was in Europe, so I'm just coming back to the show now. I was in Greece, I was in the UK, yeah, back in Canada, and then came back. So I've got a couple of things on the horizon that I'd love to share with you all. Hello, everyone. And yeah, so just drop in the chat how we're feeling today. And I want to see what vibe we're at. Let me see here. Let me just check. Yeah, I've got, I think what's interesting is I was sitting with, what am I going to talk about today? Just because I feel so full. I feel so full from my travels, and there's just so much that I would love to share. But I do want to go back to some of the foundations. And oh, here I got some up and down. Every day is a new beginning. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Truly. So that's beautiful. Oh, yes, thank you. I'm getting some comments about my snake. Yes, I just went through, I felt this to be fitting because I feel like I just went through this really, really deep unravel and rebirth again. And, again, coming out of this last full moon, and astrologically, my moon on my birth chart, my moon is actually in Scorpio. So this was a really personal full moon for me. So, and it was a big one, I think, for a lot of people as well. So lots of energy stemming from that. So I have here feel positive and energized and pretty steady today. Amazing. Good. Awesome. So let's begin with just some little pieces that really wanted to drop into the space today. And what I'm going to actually do is I'll probably do a little bit of transmission. I'll get to some other sort of housekeeping things that I'm going to drop in here. And then I'll probably reserve about the last 10 or 15 minutes for questions. I love questions. I just really want to interact with people. I feel like I can do a lot of talking. I can talk all day, but I really want to see what's coming through for everybody and see how I can support people on these chats that we have, which, we have very limited time, so I can't unravel everything, but I will do my best. Yes, Scorpio moon, 22 degrees here. Oh, I feel like a fog has been lifted a little bit, so a bit clearer and calmer. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's begin with, first and foremost, of course, anybody who's kind of new to this space. I want to reiterate that please do go and subscribe on the Beyond Mystic YouTube channels. Yes, it is beautiful here. It is. This is Costa Rica. It's very hot right now. As you can see, I'm pretty shiny. I'm like acclimatizing again from being in Europe and then coming back is really, really hot. So yeah, so what I wanted to just quickly chat about here really quick before we get into anything else. Yeah, definitely go on to the, Beyond Mystic YouTube channel. You can like, share, subscribe, however you like. If you want, there's such beautiful practitioners, beautiful people, lots of wisdom to be shared all around. So many different, how would I say this, energies that are like come together on this beautiful family, Beyond Mystic family. And so there is definitely something for everybody. So go check that out. And yeah, so just to continue on, I really felt called to speak a little bit more about the mystery schools, but more specifically about the initiates of mystery schools and what this all means. Okay. And we're going to do a little bit of unraveling here because this is a really, as always, multi-dimensional, multi-layered topic. Okay. And I feel that it is really relevant to what is happening during this time of, connecting back in, connecting back to spirit, awakening consciousness, all of these beautiful things. So, I always like to say that the mystery school initiate, right? Usually what this is like the initiate is a student of the great mystery. And what most people don't fully realize is that whether you are consciously and actively studying, mystery school teachings, unconsciously, every human being that comes here is somehow initiated by the great mystery. And of course, there was a time on this planet where a lot of these sort of mystery schools thrived. Like, I won't go into that. I've spoken to a little bit about that before, and obviously how templates turned and the mystery schools fell, and many people had to safeguard a lot of that wisdom, right? That was trying to be distorted and controlled and destroyed. But essentially, we are going through a massive rebirth in all of this right now. And where I personally feel it the most is when I am on the lands, when I'm on very sacred lands, like the lands I was just in Greece, like the lands I often go to in Sardinia, Sicily, Italy. I was also in the UK. I was in Glastonbury and doing some really, really deep work on the land there with one of my beautiful teachers. Doing, again, I just want to say a deeper evolution of initiation on the priestess path. And so I truly believe that a lot of these sacred sites, were, seen and unseen, right? But we're really these sites for these massive activations and massive transmissions that really come through the land. They come through Gaia. And this is where I feel, again, and I'm only going to speak to my journey because there are a billion or many, many, many ways that each unique soul designs for itself to experience, right, expansion, and many, many different modalities, right? So obviously what's good for you may not be good for me, and vice versa. And your path is different than mine. So I'm just going to speak to my path and see how that resonates, right? But I've been on this path probably now for a solid 15 years. And there have been many phases in that 15 years of death, rebirth, unravel, healing, the journey up and down, all the things. And there was points on my journey where I truly did need very specific support in terms of like specific tools and resources and, teachers and mentors and all of that got me to a place now where my nervous system can truly be sort of, I want to say, expanded or elastic enough, right? Regulated enough to be in deeper tune with the greatest teacher, which is this earth, the land. And I understand that this can be really difficult for a lot of people just coming onto their journey, right? Holding presence and stillness, and the simplicity of it almost sounds really weird. Like, truly, it's like, what? I just have to go sit on the land and I get calibrated? It's like, yeah, we do. We do. And so some of the most potent mystery school teachings that I have personally been able to take in have truly, truly come from my deep connection to the earth. Whether that was on very specific sacred sites where my body was really able to just be in presence, and I could listen and I could feel, right? So many people ask me all the time, they're like, I feel like I'm not clear. I can't hear, I can't see. Like my, my vision is sort of like, my psychic vision, my psychic sight, my third eye, my, psychic hearing, all of these things. A lot of people feel like they're blocked in it. And I truly resonate with that. Like there was a time where I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea, right? I just had to continue trusting, continue deep, deep trust that I was truly on the path. Ooh, I don't know if you hear that thunder in the background. It's like trust. Yeah. But from this particular experience, so when I was in Greece, I did some work at Delphi, the Temple of Delphi, Temple of Poseidon at Delphi, Apollo Delphi. And I sat on those lands really, really for a while, right? And I did some, ceremonial aspects and a little bit of ritual. And yes, there's people around and people are visiting the sacred sites. And when I get to these places, I really try to tap in to trust where I'm being guided to go and sit, right? Because everything is so, oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry, guys, let me know if you can hear me because I'm seeing that it's like, no, it's somebody said no video. Are we good? Let me drop in the chat and see if we're good. Yeah, let me know. I don't know. Yeah, 5 and 5. Okay, good. Thank you. All right. Yeah, because I don't see it on my end. It's just going, but I guess on your end, you guys are seeing some scrambling there. So, okay, awesome. Amazing. Here we are. So, yeah, back to the temple at Delphi, the Delphi temple in Greece. And I've always had a really deep connection with Pythia, the oracle. And I've just been really guided to go there lately, personally on my journey, and sit there. And, I spent many years in the spaces of even facilitating, like plant medicine and earth medicines and, breath work and a lot of these beautiful modalities when used in a really sacred way with integrity are absolute sources of healing for sure. Okay. Again, I can do a whole other show on that. But what I'm saying right now is I've gotten to the point where having come through all of that, right? And being in deeper presence and being in deeper trust and bringing myself to very specific sites, I sit and I listen and I feel. Oh, beautiful. Yes, Pythia. She's a good asteroid. I'm looking at the chat there. And had you asked me like 15 years ago or 10 years ago, it was like, there's no way I could have even believed or trusted that sitting on the land or these sacred sites would be as healing or as powerful as a peak experience, right? And I really, really want to highlight that it has been an unravel and a journey of finding harmony, which I truly believe, is sort of like almost like this priority of a mystery school initiate as you walk through the mystery. And finding harmony and finding balance, right? At a really deep and present level, right? Being a student of that, which requires a consistent, and I do mean consistent, alleviation of seeking outside the self, of seeking constantly outside the self, or outsourcing versus insourcing. Because essentially, this is what the earth is here to literally teach and guide us. It's like that immediate connection to her at a magnetic level. You come right in deep in alignment, right? And it has to be a consistent devotion to being literally present with all the little energetic imbalances that are happening within, right? There's subtleties of those little energetic imbalances, and we can hear them more and more and feel them more and more as we come into deeper connection and deeper balance, right? And so when we are no longer bothered by the pressure of having to, or feeling the need to escape this inner sourcing, right? This like escapism and like reaching outside all the time for all the things that we feel that we really, really need, right? To have that connection, to have that experience. What happens truly is like we begin to take responsibility. And when we break up that word, responsibility, the ability to respond. So the mystery school initiate must develop this ability to respond to all of the subtle inner imbalances and the imbalances of what is being seen on the outside, right? As within, so without. So whatever's in here is happening out there, right? And so this is a big missing link. This is a big missing link that I am seeing come through that we're getting better at. I think we're getting better at. But in a lot of sessions that I'm doing and these beautiful people that I am just blessed to support and work with, there's always that question. It's like, I've done all these things. I've done all the things. And I've probably mentioned this before, right? It's like, I've done all the things and I'm stuck. I'm stagnant. What's next? And I cannot highlight enough, right? It's the ability to respond to literally what your heart and your soul is calling you to action, right? And that ability to respond, which feels scary, right? Can feel heavy, right? Requires work. It requires a consistent showing up for yourself, literally, right? It requires trust. And the only way you're going to build that trust is by showing up, right? Not abandoning yourself in not aligning your word to action, right? We have to align our word to action in order to be the thing that we're here to be and to do the things that we're here to do, right? I truly believe that at a collective level, and I feel even the astrology is talking a little bit about this, or like helping us feel more of this, is this like, it's go time. Like it's go time, right? There's no more like, well, I'm just gonna, do my shamanic training and, do my tarot cards and or like, be the gardener and do all these like things on the side and then go work my like really stressful, not in alignment with 9 to 5, making me sick style job, right? It's go time. It's taking the steps. And I don't mean that everybody has to become a shaman and a gardener. That is not what I'm saying at all. That is not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is we need to move into deeper alignment, right, with who we're here to be. Okay. And that is a journey all in itself that takes some people, it takes time and baby steps. It's titrated, and other people just literally they jump, right? Both can be, it's neither this or that, right? It really depends on how you are here to learn, how you are here to evolve, right? You've designed this, right? So the ability to respond is a huge piece to being a true initiate of the mystery school, right? The great mystery, the mystery that is life, right? Our bodies are the temple. The earth is a temple planet with dozens, hundreds of temples, seen and unseen, hidden and not hidden, right? Same with us. Same with our bodies. So, I want to also say that this ability to respond, right? This ability to respond is a choice. It's a choice that you get to make. And it's by making that choice to respond that takes you through the rite of passage, the initiation, right? Takes you through the initiation, builds the wisdom, right? Activates the codes, and helps you trust. I see a lot of people here. It says, makes sense to me. I'm resonating with this too. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. So harmony, finding that balance, right? Harmonic is a sound. It's a frequency, right? The more we come into tuning that frequency, right, the more we vibrate at a more expanded frequency, right? And it's like everything else kind of melts away. People, places, things that don't resonate anymore. We know all this. I don't think you'd be watching this show if you didn't know all that. So, okay. Yeah. So let me just check this out. So yeah, I mean, another piece to this that I kind of wanted to drop in the field was this, deeper expanded experience that I personally had on these lands, where I felt my life force come online in a whole different way. Okay. And in order for my life force to come online at this new expanded level, right, I had to experience not need, not desire, but arousal. Okay, and let's talk about arousal for a quick minute here. Okay, arousal gets a little bit of a distorted texture to it sometimes because it's automatically associated to, like, potential like sex or sexuality, but arousal, right? Who here can truly say that they have felt the experience totally in their bodies of being aroused by life? Can anybody just like say yes? Like, I've had that. So I'm like, so that is what truly at a next, yeah, that's right. Yes. Thank you. What arouses your soul? 100%. Yes. You know, for me, my experience of this was me needing to go back to my ancestral lands, right? I've done a ton of ancestral healing. I support and I teach on ancestral healing and inner child wounding, but I really had to go back to my ancestral lands, right? Where my DNA recognizes the feeling and the coding of the sun from that land, where my DNA recognizes the season, where my DNA recognizes the fruits of the land, the food of the land, the scents of the flowers. Every single aspect of all of this holds consciousness, right? And in that consciousness, the ability of remembering, the ability to remember, you know, deeper activations, deeper codes, all of this. And I'll speak to one tiny little experience here, but I was walking by this beautiful ancient olive grove. The olive tree is my spirit tree. For anybody who doesn't know, the olive tree is my spirit tree. So my lineage is Sicilian. And the olive tree just is a huge teacher for me. So walking by this beautiful ancient olive grove, and there's also all of these orange trees. And I was there in April, and all the, like, everything's in bloom. All the little orange blossoms, the flowers. The scent of the bloom of those flowers was so invigorating and so potent. Like, literally, it was like smack you in the face potent. Okay. And for me, it was just vitality, right? Vitality. The communication that the essence of that flower, the scent of the flower was bringing into my body evoked this vitality, right? That like it was a whole arousal of the senses that literally brought my life force like right down to my womb at like new levels of expansion, new levels of depth and understanding how essential it is to be connected to nature as our teacher, right? Yeah, I just wanted to share that, but it was very, very powerful. And springing from that, it taught me a deeper lesson on luxury, which I can save for another show because we only have about 20 minutes left, and I do want to take some questions. And before I take some questions, actually, I don't know if you guys can see, it's like now starting to downpour. So I hope it's not going to get too glitchy, but if it does, I will do my best to come on and fix that all up. Okay. So yeah, I just want to take a quick little break here and just go back to some little housekeeping things. And yeah, again, just coming back to the beautiful Beyond Mystic platform. And, you know, again, so many beautiful teachers on this platform. Like, I am extremely honored to be a part of this extended family. And so I just wanted to, I don't have the actual, so here's the thing, guys, I'm not going to lie. I'm about 96 years old when it comes to technology, still trying to figure out all these platforms. Okay. So I'm not going to have like the promo pictures and everything, but I do want to speak to, because I spoke about the nervous system before, and nervous system healing for me has been absolutely essential to, you know, my entire journey. Everything is related back to nervous system in our physical body. Okay, everything. And it's the gatekeeper, right? And there is this beautiful woman that I have had the privilege of having chats with many times, actually, in person as well. who is amazing with nervous system. Can you guys hear me? Because it's really coming down. Oh my God. This is hilarious. I don't know if you can see this. It's crazy. Yeah. So she is new to the Beyond Mystic platform, and she's got this beautiful course. All right. Oh, here we are. Thank you. She's got a beautiful polyvagal workshop. Her name is Aline. Definitely go check it out for those of you who want to deepen into your nervous system work. It has been a major key component to my healing, my somatic healing, all the things, right? So you do that kind of work with your nervous system, and believe me, you will understand at a much deeper level what it means to be in deeper presence, to be in deeper stillness, to be regulated, and to feel true peace. So I just wanted to drop that in here. All right. So I got about 20 minutes left on this show. And what I'd like to do is take some questions. I'll just start taking some questions right now because I'm actually a little concerned that it's going to cut me off with this rain. I'm not going to lie. So anybody who has any questions or any comments that they'd like to elaborate on or chat about, or anything they might need support with, I am happy to answer. So I'll leave that to you. I'll take some questions. Woo. Oh, I'm getting, it's like delayed. Thank you. I'm very glad to be here. So thank you. I'm gonna take a look and start scrolling here. Somebody here said, in other words, how alive is the present moment? Are we noticing new things on the same? Yes. Beautifully said. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I'm sounding good. I'm speaking louder. Okay. Yes. Beautiful cleansing rain. I know. I'm just like, bring it all. It's pretty hot here. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm really happy about this rain. Yeah. Does anybody have questions on the mystery schools, or like what that means, or how it shows up in your life? Because there's so many different aspects of the mystery schools. Let me see here. I'm just going to take a look. I'm going to go back to the top of these comments here. Yeah. I love this. Somebody just mentioned one of my favorite things to do is to lay down on the ground barefoot. Yeah, and it's amazing what it can do. Absolutely. It is like truly electromagnetic, right? Grounding. It's a real thing. And there's so many people that are like using these biohacking techniques, like grounding mats, right? Of course, like when we don't have access to grass or nature, and like, we might live in a big city or something, these are beautiful tools. But if you do have access to nature, I highly recommend getting your skin to ground, right? Let me see here. Yes, we all do have our own journey. Somebody just wrote that, don't we? I'm like, yes, we do. Oh, I love this. I had a dream of a white baby snake asking me to help it find a home. And I said, okay, and put it around my neck, just like my necklace. In the dream, a year later, it was still around my neck. Wow, that's beautiful. Yeah, I love that. The snake does represent, it holds so much medicine, right? Like shedding layers, shedding skin, death and rebirth. It is a keeper of the ground, right? The snake is a keeper of the ground, usually associated with fire, the element of fire in the south, right? I love this. Let me see. We've got some new comments. Woohoo! Okay. I love this. Yes, I have no idea. So somebody just wrote, I have no idea about anything anymore. So what do I do with that? That's potent, right? That's potent. And I can completely resonate. Like, we get to a point, I think, sometimes on our journeys where we're just like, And truly, I think that's the most mature, spiritually mature, and wisdom-based knowing, truly, that we can have. The more we evolve on our journey, the more we realize we actually don't know anything, right? We actually start to understand that, you know, our ego can begin to get a little bit more comfortable with not knowing anything and not knowing everything. We're not meant, this is why it's called the great mystery. We're not meant to know everything, right? And so what do I say to that? The best support and advice that came through a teacher for me once upon a time was, the more rooted, like really root chakra, root, you know, for women, womb, men, hara, all the, like, the more rooted we become to nature, right? The more rooted we become in ourselves, the more grounded, the more safe we feel, and the more we can actually access trust. And with trust, we can trust that even in the not knowing, right, that we're exactly where we need to be, that we're exactly on the path we're supposed to be on, right? And a beautiful way to, like, kind of, what I like to say, align our center channel. So our center channel is this energetic channel that we have that runs up and down our spine, right? It goes right up through, sort of like goes right through your 7 main chakras. And it goes through the Earth Star, the North Star, all the things. And it just runs right through. And the best way to, like, calibrate that, right, and allow that to align through the spine and feel that energy moving through is simply to put your back up against a tree. And a tree will literally align that and calibrate you and speak to you in ways that will help you feel rooted and expanded. It's the best teacher. Okay. I like the question of, how does it show up in your life? How does it show up in your life? I'm not sure I fully understand that question. How does what in particular show up in your life? If you want to just, Jenny of the Sun, I'm seeing that here. So if you want to just pop in a little bit more context, I'm happy to answer. Is there an occult definition dictionary you are aware of? Well, yeah, there's many out there. Again, I have not gone purposely. I have not gone into those realms of, you know, studying or learning, because again, there's so much distortion in, like, the whole, like, occult movements, and I mean, again, I can again take a whole other show on this particular thing, but no, I'm gonna say no for this particular, like, there's nothing that I would actually particularly suggest. And if there's specific definitions that that feel like they're coming through you and that, like, you want to know more about, I'm happy to, like, if you want to drop them in the chat, and I can actually speak to maybe the definitions. Maybe I know something that could be helpful. Let me see. Let's see. Is the snake a symbol of wisdom of the female energy? I like this. So actually, the snake is a symbol of the sacred feminine for sure. And how that symbol has been evolved, and, you know, what different, like, meanings that symbol has been given throughout time has differed depending on, you know, the mystery school, depending on lineage, culture, all the things. But essentially, yes, there is great wisdom in the snake, because the snake is consistently rebirthing itself, right? The snake is also a symbol of our, like, life force or our kundalini energy. Now, again, a whole other teaching on kundalini and life force being two very different things that move in similar ways, okay? But it is definitely a symbol of the divine feminine. There are, you know, some pre-biblical stories that go back to this. There's so many stories that go back to this. I'm happy to deepen in on that. You know, we can even maybe do a show on like the snake mysteries and like, you know, give you all the history on that. But yeah, to answer your question, yes. Had to do tree trimming yesterday. Is that also a form of grounding? Absolutely. Getting your hands in nature, being in connection with the plant realm. You know, these are our ancestors. They were here, they evolved long before humanity, right? The plant realm, the plant world. They hold consciousness in so many different ways. They all have they're different teachers, different roles that they play, right? So absolutely getting out and doing tree trimming can absolutely be grounding and nurturing and healing for sure. Yes, the more I found out, the less I know. Absolutely. Always learning. What are some ways to start working on generational trauma once you've identified some of the patterns? I love, this is a great question. Okay. Let me see if I can put this, because it's a big question. It's a big unravel. So obviously the first part to this is always being aware. Now, we all have some form of generational trauma, right? Being aware of what those traumas are, right, opens up the door. Okay. Now, here you're asking, once you've identified some of the patterns, what are some of the ways? So really, how do we break the patterns is what I'm hearing from you, right? So yes, it begins with the awareness piece of, okay, here's the pattern. I'm aware of it, right? I'm about to move into, so it's like, there's different stages to actually, you know, seeing and recreating a pattern. What we want to do is get to a stage where we can be preventative, right? We can prevent the pattern from reoccurring. In order to be in prevention, right, it takes nervous system calibration, because oftentimes we are acting from a place of program or conditioning, right? We're being activated into creating this pattern, right? That's been programmed and conditioned into us. So what we want to do is, number one, we always give ourselves love, forgiveness, grace. Okay. Love, forgiveness, grace, right? We are human. We are human. And we know that it takes a long time to disrupt and dismantle patterns that truly developed through the mind, right? From a place of not feeling safe. So my biggest thing is we have to bring our bodies back to safety. There's many, many ways to do that. Somatic practices, breath work. Like I was talking about a bunch of different tools before. This is essentially nervous system regulation, right? When we bring ourselves into a more regulated state, we see more clearly, right? We hold more stillness and more presence, and we can act from a place of love versus a place of survival or fear. Okay. So this is also a big piece of what I was talking about how we align our action with our words. Is like, okay, I am not going to do XYZ anymore. I'm holding this boundary, right? Or I am going to do XYZ from this point moving forward. And it's to consistently bring ourselves back into connection as we move through the little steps of our day that take us into pattern and behavior, right? Am I acting from a place of love, or am I acting from a place of fear? Am I acting from a place of connection to myself? Am I not abandoning myself? Or am I acting from a place of disconnection, right? Ego, separation. Did that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to get to some other questions. Here we go. Oh, would you say balancing chakras helps to release generational trauma? Yeah, this is a big one. This is a big one. So, and this is a big answer. So I'm going to try again, put this in a nutshell. So First, I do want to say that we definitely we have more than 7 chakras. Okay, we have more than 7 chakras, but I'll focus on the main 7 that everybody is pretty familiar with. Okay, we know that these chakras move, right? They're like, they spin, they spin, they spin. These energy centers that spin in our body. When we have unprocessed emotion, right? We store those emotions in certain parts of the body. Those stored emotions then manifest into potential like physical ailments. Okay. Generational trauma, typically speaking, holds the current or holds the tide of shame. Often does. It holds the tide of, like I say, shame, fear, abandonment. Those are a lot of the core wounds. Where that is actually stored in the body is in your sacral, right? It's in your sacral and in your root. Ancestral trauma is always held in the root and in the sacral. So if we are holding on to all of those stored programs, emotions, conditioning, we're holding on to shame, the energetic of shame that is heavy and stagnant, it doesn't allow us to move from the root up. For women, okay, when we address and when we go deep into womb healing, right, women must descend into the womb, descend into the root to actually address, chakra healing and ancestral generation. Trauma. I'm back. Just shut down there for a second. If we begin to address those energetically, we can't forget about the somatic piece, because everything that we do from an energetic level also exists on the physical plane, and we're here to be physical beings, right? So we have to do both the somatic pieces of the womb and the root healing, as well as the energetic. All right, next question. Let me see. Oh, the reason I asked about that dictionary is because we may be using words which have unintended meaning. Yes, absolutely. Totally. Yes, the etymology of words are huge. And we know that when the templates turned, as did the word. And again, I would love to do a whole other show on the power of word, the transmission of word, and word being of creator, right? This is a whole other thing. So I really like that you put that there. Thank you for that. Let me see. Anything else? Would you say balance? Oh, I just did that one. Mantras are beautiful. Mantra. I release all negative energies that no longer serve my highest good. I've said it more times than I can count. Yes, but you have to say it, you have to feel it, and you have to mean it. And then you have to hold boundary to ensure you're not attracting it, right? So it's not just the mantra. It's not just the mind, right? Let me see what else here. I've got a couple minutes left. Yes, 7 generations. I love this. Yes, eliminates the end. But this is a never-ending unravel, like ancestral trauma. It's a spiral path, right? So it's like, just remember that it's always a journey and things will come back, but you will always be able to revisit a said experience with a more expanded perspective and an expanded nervous system the more you do the work, right? Let me see, is there anything else? I'm just looking through. I love this. Yes, there is no end, just a beginning. And I'm gonna leave us with that because I'm like getting hit with all the rain now. So yes, there is no end, just a new beginning. And the soul knows that. The soul knows, right? That it is infinite, right? The soul doesn't die, right? So we are never actually essentially separated from source, right? Just always a new beginning. So, all right. Well, thank you, everybody. It's about time. And before I leave, anybody, I'm just going to also put here in the chat that I do have consultations for anybody who's interested in doing exactly that, having some consultations and just checking in about like where they're at and maybe where they feel that they have intentions on where they're going. And I'm always happy to help support and guide those brave souls that are here to do the deep, deep work on themselves to find the truth. That is all that I am devoted to, is the unravel of truth, which is so different from everybody. So yes, thank you everybody so much once again, and I will see you again soon. So many new shows that I so much hope and what do I want to say, like I just have this whole refreshed outlook on so many things, and I just have so much in my heart that I do want to share.